Good morning, guys. I'm here with my coffee. Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, it's a top secret where I got this cup from. Well, anyways, let me just show you how beautiful it is here. It's really nice. So today I'm gonna take you on a journey of the top tips for you to get a beautiful, nice place in Copenhagen, which I did. I'm now living my life. Please remember to subscribe. And yeah, I hope you like my tips. Cheers. Bye. So it took me around 2 years to get my place. Now this is not just a place that I rented. This is an andelsbolig, which we call it in Danish. But just so you are prepared that it can take some time. And it's really about luck. For me, I see this as an investment, so my plan with this apartment is that I want to stay here for as long as I want to. My plan will be to sell it and get something bigger. And then one day when I'm ready for a dog and a husband and kids, maybe I'll have a big enough place for my whole family. But let's get into it. The first thing that you should know when you buy your own place is that you need to have the mental side of it ready. Do you really want this? Is what you need to ask yourself. What are the positive sides of doing it and what are the negative sides of, well, you're going to be in debt for life. You have to know that. It is money that you're putting in and it takes around 36 years, maybe more, to settle a debt. You're going to have expenses, but that's a part of it. Another con is that there's a lot of practical handling with your apartment. You're going to be spending money. Depending on the condition of the apartment that you get, it can be a brand new one. If it's an older one, you might, you need to know that you're going to spend money. Maybe your bank says yes to giving you a loan in the wrong apartment that has a low value, and then it might be hard for you to sell it. So that's why you also need to be smart. It can happen to foreigners is that you might get into a bad building community where there's a little bit of racism towards foreigners, and I don't know, Danish people are a bit weird. We've talked about that before, but that could also happen. But some of the good things is that, it will be yours. It'll be your apartment. Nobody will have to tell you when to move out, like when you're renting a room or renting a place. It gives you security in that way, and also it's an investment. Like if you want to do what I do, and your apartment ends up raising a lot in value when you want to sell it, and you can buy something bigger, it's amazing. You're putting the money towards you, which is another thing, is that the money goes somewhere worthy. It doesn't go to another owner. For me, the positive sides definitely weighs out the negative sides. So when you have set your mind to it, if you want your own place, is to choose a bank that's right. And when I mean a bank that's right, I mean a bank with low interests. And sometimes the smaller banks are actually better than the bigger banks because they're more personal. They care more about you, I don't know, they listen to you. So here's a list of all the small banks that you should contact. You need to take a couple of meetings with a few banks to find out who can offer you the best thing. Saved money for a down payment. And the bigger the amount, the better. And the down payment is really important because then they can also see that you're good at saving money. They can see that you handle your economy well and that everything is in balance and that you've been able to save up even though your economy isn't the best. Another important thing is actually what you say to the bank. Education to job to how you handle your money is really important for the bank. It's not just you who has to choose the bank also has to choose you. So it's really important to remember. The better you make yourself look, the better. They're also making an investment in you. At that meeting, the bank is also going to ask you for the last 3 months of your payments. So make sure 3 months before you go to the bank, you make good money at the job that you have, if you're a waiter or whatever you are. And also when they ask you to make a budget, put as little things as possible. Don't put like train cards and clothes and, all those silly things. Just put like the most basic important things, like I spend rent where I live now and I spend some things in food and the rest I save. because the bank has a rule that after you have paid off the loan with the rent and heat and everything like that, you need to have at least 5,000 for yourself. And that's a rule from the bank. They can't tell you yes to getting an apartment if they don't see those numbers. It's all about numbers. So the less budget you have, the better. And the market works like this, that if you go online to check for an andelsbolig or an apartment, you see sometimes that there are apartments that have a very low price but a very high rent. And this means that the economy of the building is really bad. So what you want to look for is actually high prices of the bank but low rents, because that means that they have a good economy. And also remember that the higher the price of the apartment, the more you will gain if you sell it after. So if your apartment is already worth 1.2 million and you live there for 2 years, maybe it will be worth 1.5 million or maybe 2 million when you move out. So it's actually not a bad deal. Number 4 is probably one of the most important points, which is that you have to check online for apartments more than 3 times a day. These are the websites that I used to look at. DBA was the best one for me. That's where I found most apartments. And when you find an apartment that you like, the faster you are when they put up the post, the better. Even though you don't have a go from the bank yet, just write to the people, say that you are interested in the apartment, when you can get to the open house, or if you can give them a call or anything like that. And then after that, call your bank straight away and ask them, give them all the details that they need, and then see if the bank says yes or no. And if they say yes, and you have the chance to go to an open house and go and see it, go then. But it's really, really important that you check online all the time. Please just make it a part of your routine, like I did. Like every morning when I woke up and I went to the toilet, like we all do, I checked. And when I went in the morning to work on the train or to school, I was checking. When I went back, I was checking. Like every chance you get, just check and check and check and check, because the faster you are, the better. If you actually do go to an open house, bring someone who knows something about electricity and water and fungus and stuff like that, who can keep an eye on those things for you. You will have a second opinion of the important things that might have a that might mean something during the long run. It's also very important that you do your part when you go to an open house, and that means talk to the owner. What does it take for me to get this place? Because then you will understand how you can get the place. Some people just put a lot of names in a bowl and then they pull one name out, and then that will be the one who gets the apartment. But other people, like the people who owned my place before me, they wanted to give it to the one they thought needed it the most. Make up your mind, be strategic about it, and find out, what can I say and what can I do. Some owners ask for money under the table as a way of considering you for taking over the place. So if you want to spend more money than what you actually have, or if you want to take some money away from your down payment and pay that under the table, that's of course up to you. If you want an apartment that bad that you are willing to be illegal and a criminal, because it is actually illegal. But that's really up to you. There's a lot of competition, so you should know that you will see many apartments that you like. People who put up their apartments, they get so many requests within the first 30 minutes because everyone is looking all the time. So just know that, be realistic, but don't let that strike you out if you don't get a place. I was close to reaching my apartment maybe 2 or 3 times and I didn't get it. But you just have to keep going, like everything in life. 8 and final point is when you do see the possibility of getting a place, the first thing you have to do is contact the bank to get a confirmation that you can take over the place. You need some kind of proof that your bank says, because that's the proof for the owner to know that you can do it and your bank has said yes, and that's another way for them to consider you. You'll be a lot in contact with your bank, you have to know that. Just put them on speed dial. You need to have your priorities in order. If you need to skip a class, or if you need to take some time off work for 10 minutes to talk to your bank, do that. If it's important to you, do that. Don't feel bad about that. It got me where I wanted and I've never been happier. I wish you the best of luck. And alright, thank you for watching. Bye!